Check, baby, check. 1, 2, ladies and gentlemen. I will be with you shortly, and so will my man Pedro. One minute, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be with you in just a moment. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro and I will be with you shortly here. Let's see if we can bring the man up. Not yet. Let's fix his feed. One thing I wish is that I wish this program that I use would always remember its sources. Sometimes it forgets, and it always forgets at that key moment. There's the man drinking his flask of vodka.
Kilo, man. This is the coolest thing in the world. When I saw this bottle at my friend's place, and I was like, that's a cool bottle. He goes, yeah, because the little lid on it, it's all like, oh, cool. Like, you want it?
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. The man in the box next to me, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. This is November 14th, 2025. Welcome to our super mega awesome rated show with record volume, record attendance, record everything, including record hyperbole by yours truly here. Anyway, what a week this has been. Pedro's been out all week. He's back today. I hope there's lots of you out there ready to wish him a good return. We all have to take a break now and then. Pedro is off for a little bit, but he's back today to talk about this awesome week that we've had. BTC smashes the 95K level as predicted, ladies and gentlemen. Pedro and I have been about it literally for months. And I was calling for it specifically starting 2 days from now. 2 days from now happened 2 days early. I'm sorry. I suck. I'm out of here. Anyway, the fear and greed is down to 20 now. 20 people are losing their mind. The money, 2 days ago, I did a story about record money flowing into the ETFs. Guess what? Today's a story about record money flowing out of the ETFs. So those things are being traded just like regular spot markets, it seems like. Also, when times are bad, what happens, Pedro? What happens when times are bad? Rumor mills start. And the rumor went around the internet yesterday that Michael Saylor was selling 47,000 BTC. People lost their mind. He immediately came out and said, nope, untrue. Not true, we're still buying, and we always will be buying. Anyway, is it time to buy? We got the fear and greed down, we got the price down, we got everything we were talking about. Liquidations levels hit. This is where I introduce Miss Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Welcome back, Pedro. How have you been?
I've been well. Things have been awesome. The markets have been moving. It's been really good.
Market's been moving and grooving. He turned his music down to acceptable levels. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Drop a comment here to let old Pedro know that you're back. Let's see if we got anyone. There's Dr. Fire Chicken. He says, what's up, fine peoples?
What's up, my beautiful
Crypto Unicorn says, what up, Fire Chicken?
Let's go. Tom is doing a great job too. I've been checking out the stuff on the videos.
We've been trying to keep it very simple in a narrow little range in which I know, which includes just the small things we've been talking about, BTC, and even the ICP trade that you and Fraz were talking about, Mr. Parfums, is still doing kind of what we said it was going to do, coming down.
Yeah.
To level and all that. But Pedro, let's just get right into it. The week, people literally were freaking out on the media. Crypto Twitter was absolutely batshit crazy. Just last week, they're saying it's time to moon. Time to moon. Why did I? Oh, I got this all screwed up. Bear with me. Go ahead, start talking about Bitcoin, Pedro. Let me fix the screen here. I got it all.
Right.
I got everything backwards here today.
No worries, it's okay. All right, guys. So it's good to have everyone again. Sorry, I've been kind of hiatus. I've been taking care of a bunch of stuff that I needed to. So let's talk about the BT and the C and what's actually been happening. So I talked about the 400 period moving average, and I was on Bitcoin.com talking about the CME 200 period moving average and the close below that on the week, and then to see a bit of a sell-off. So we're going to check out two charts here, and so you can kind of see really what's happening from the institutional side. And one of the things I always talk about is the leveraged side of the CME, right? Like, just in general, we deal with leverage when it comes to futures. A lot of us use perpetual futures to be able to go both ways, right? Be able to go long and short within a trade and kind of hedge your position, right? Well, institutions do the same thing, but they can do it at a much higher level just because they can. On the CME, there is a lot of money that actually correlates there. So you have banks, you also have large traders and institutions, let's say like Walmart or other companies like that, that want to be able to kind of take part in that. Obviously, there's a lot of laws that that use to protect the markets. The markets are like lions; they really don't need protection. They just let them go and they handle their business. Come on, what is this?
Well, speaking of business, what's going on in the BTC business?
Yeah, give me 1 second because I need to do two here.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, all week I've been running the graphics over here in the corner. This one specifically, if it was my system, it was like 95K coming soon. Hold the sign, glowing in the dark, cyberpunk girl holding it. 75 coming soon. Blasted right. I did these in reverse order. I was wanting to do this one first. The 100K girl. 100K coming soon. She's running to the city with 100K, like, and well, that one came to fruition. And then the very next one, 95K coming soon. That one came to fruition too. This morning at, I don't know, 6 o'clock Eastern time, dropped all the way down to 94 and change on the wake down.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this there. So, at Bitcoin.com, we talked about the CME GPC and its ability to get above and close above the 200 period moving average. And on Friday, we did not. We actually showed that it is displaying a bear sentiment, right? The fact that we did not close that on the podcast, because I made a point. We'll typically go over that on Key Technical Tuesdays. So we wasn't able to do that, so we went over that again. The fact close above it, and we never really put any demand wicks. You can see here, this is a CME micro futures. You can see here that we had nothing but seller wicks there. So to me, it's a huge decay of starting to face being steam, and you can see here that we're actually seeing a lot of sellers. Right, we're trying to sell our position. So it's interesting in all of this. We know that institutions are not selling the position. It's actually getting the scared hands. We talked about this. I talked about this on the Bitcoin.com podcast as well as here many times. When you bring it down to these lows, do not sell your position. Okay, what we want to do is you can take the futures and use a short every time you come a resistance level. You want to take that short, take a look, take money, boom, you got to start out to buying. Again, this is not advice. This is advice that I use myself. So you can decide what you want to do with that. But that's typically what I do. Now, what I really kind of crucial one here on the CME chart, we actually have a second. I have a little gap right here. This is down to 92 to 90,000 area here. Okay. So, to act as their support, or it will act as an area of a bounce, and then or sell through, best off and continue. We have two areas here. Then we're going to go to the normal chart. You have your 80,000 mark right here, which is the form on the CME. Now, on the traditional spot market currency, we are past the 400 period average now. So on that spot chart, we hit like 25,000. There's nothing. There's no dynamic resistance level or lows after that, or actually resistance level, yes, but we will not. We're looking for buyers on the chart within candles. In the CME, we've got one last. This is the 400 period moving average, and you can see here when we go to the other one how the other chart you'll understand what I'm talking about here. But as we come into this level, right, we should see a form of bounce, boom, and then see something like that, and then we want to see that go up like that. If we don't see this, we'll probably see something like this. Then we'll come down, boom, bounce, bounce, sell through, hit that 87. That does hold, and I don't think it's going to hold. I don't think the 400 on the CME chart is going to hold. And then from here we'll see this, but if it does, we'll see something like that. Continue up. But I do expect something like this.
Can you drag that over just a little bit? Just the chart, not the whole window.
Oh, of this stage where I would expect to see something like this, boom, bounce down off of that 400, consolidate, go up a little, and then continue down and come back up until we get down to that 75 area.
Calling the 75 level. Ooh, Pedro Thomas. Not popular in the world of Bitcoin spot holders at all. They got the voodoo dolls out, sticking you with pins.
Now, I am still bullish on this market, but we talked about how it, because of the inflation, the US dollar is, we'll go into that later, but because of the US dollar and what's happening with the debt, and additionally to that, what we're seeing jobs reports. We had record low job reports now, and they're finally, remember I talked about whether are they going to produce the real jobs reports, and they are. And so part of the sell-off is coming literally in the S&P 500, where that's really what we're fighting against, is the jobs reports, the U.S. economy. Officially, we're in a recession-ish, right? I think we've been in it for a while now, but ultimately, what we're dealing with is that the institutions understand that people are not going to have money to buy their Bitcoin, and so that, they might be selling up their positions to buy and accumulate down at a lower level versus the level right now. So it all depends on what we see with this economy. Now, also we need to also talk about the $2,000, which I'm going to call the cancel, or excuse me, not the cancel, the cancer. And this is going to be important to understand. Bailout, or the stimulus. I'm calling it the cancer stimulus, which is
it is like a cancer. You're right.
Yeah.
Because we don't need it. We don't need the stimulus. I realize there are always people that need money. I get it. Always need money, but it's not like it's the Great Depression where if people don't get this $2,000, they're going to die. And it's better to pay off the debt. Pay off the debt. Stop raising the debt ceiling. Use the money wisely. Don't give it back to us. I mean that's crazy. I'm like, sure, pay us the $2,000. Families that've got the 3 income earners in it, 2 parents and an older kid, we can get $6,000 right before the holidays. Yeah, sure, great. But man, that's gonna sap? Target won't have as many sales. Walmart won't have as many sales. They're like, oh, families got cash money. Let's raise the prices.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Sorry, go.
And I want to add this idea is that what's also more important is that we're taking out more debt. Again, America is stealing from our grandchildren to pay us. This is really what we're doing. And so we're going to hit inflation. That's what Tom is leaning towards, whereas you have the same amount of goods, but more money pursuing after that. So if I'm a retail person and now everybody's flush with $2,000, I'm going to keep my bet at $199. No, it's going to go to $249. Right? Everybody's flush with cash, and so then what you have is in 6 months down the road, a summer of hell. Right? Again, we're in the same situation. It's just like a dog chasing its tail, and it's a bad situation. So it needs to. Generation X, Generation Y, we are going to have to suffer a lot. We're going to have to be the strong men where we're going to have to let people die. Boomers are going to die. Your friends who are on, I hate to say it, Social Security, disability, are going to have to die, or your children are going to die.
In other words, Pedro's saying it's not the federal government's responsibility to spend all of your money and all of the next generation's money and all of the next generation's money after that, but they do. And it's also not the federal government's responsibility to ensure you don't suffer because of it. Now, this $2,000 will, most households have more than $2,000 in debt, and a lot of people have attachment orders to income and stuff like that, so that $2,000 will just go right to debt collection companies. And Pedro, there are financial analysts in Walmart, Target, and all the big stores like that right now who know their demographics very well. And when Trump said, I should say the administration says only these demographics of people will get the money, income earners, that type of stuff, they know how many of those are in their districts of their stores. And so they know those stores will not have as big a sales as other districts that have fewer people getting stimulus. And so that it essentially will be an implied inflation hike per store district. I was listening to another conversation about this, and it's really just, it's essentially vote buying. That's what it is. It's vote buying. Yep. And the government in Canada did that too with benefits. The government in the UK is doing it with benefits to immigrants. Same with Canada here. Canada it was just revealed that they dropped $7.1 billion on people who don't have citizenship here in Canada on all sorts of benefits. And it was the programs were hidden and obfuscated in 90 different ways. Finally, someone put it all together and did it. And the person was called the chief budget officer. And the next day, after he revealed that, they're advertising for a new chief budget officer. They can't get rid of him. But you can't say that. Yeah, this is striking. Says corruption abounds here. Anyway.
So the most important thing is this: is with that said, we're going to have inflation, and so with BTC selling off, institutions know that. So when you have inflation and it all starts to kick in, assets go up in value, housing, stock market. So this is just a sell-off, almost I feel like in preparation for, now granted it's a sell-off because of jobs being lost and they expect a recession to come in. But some of the biggest booms in the stock market as well as asset accumulation always happens in recessions and depressions. And so there's always a major sell-off in the beginning, and then you consolidate, and then it's just gangbusters to the moon. And again, these are going to be the people who have assets. So if you can buy down in this low as it drops off, like I said, I'm my first area is a 92, 88 area. Then the next one's going to be that 74 area. I don't think we're going below the 74. Because you're talking, that is almost a 25% to 30%, actually from the highs, more than that. I think it's 30% drop from 126 to 75. That 120, so 127, boom, 10% is 1217. I'm sorry, my brain can't. So, but came down. How far did it come down? So 1217, and then it went boom, to 27. 27, and what's 27 plus 25?
52.
Thank you, 52. Boom, 12. How many times is 12.7 going into 52?
3.5. 4.
So 30%. So almost, this would be about 40%
35%.
drop.
Yeah.
35% to 40% drop. Here, that's typically what I do. I haven't done that calculation.
I know. The skills get rusty.
Yeah, so you know how quickly I can do. You guys see me doing it on the show quickly, but it's just right now I'm a little slow there. And plus I ate a ton of pizza. That's honestly a real excuse. But this is the area that I'm expecting it to come down into, which is going to be sitting around that 75 to 80,000 area. And so we come down there, that's honestly the areas that I'm expecting it. And then from there, we'll adjust there. But I think that's really where we're going to see a hold, literally because it's the previous low and it's a previous high. You can see here, previous high, previous low. We saw it go back up. Now, is it going to continue up? We'll see what happens. But I do think we'll see it continue up. I do think from that level. Now, if it goes even further down, which I don't think it will, but if it does, that 55 level is the next level. This is the CME chart. Okay. 67 to 55 is the next level. That right there, I would expect to see consolidation, and then from there, an explosion to 150 most likely. After that, I have to agree.
Well, I do want to question you about what about just this 94 to 93 level, the odds of it just bouncing right off that moving average that it's coming up to there, whatever that red line is.
Yeah,
and then starting its heading up.
I think that's weak because this moving average doesn't look strong. It's a strong moving average, but it does not look strong in its movement, literally because it's not. You can see here. You see this consistent area right here, right? That whereas you're seeing here, see how that's not round over, even right off that top. We haven't really even hit it, so that's why I'm expecting to see this thing go through the 400 period and then continue up, or go through it, come down to that level, and then go up. That's why. Remember, I always talk about, I look at when the 50 and the 80 cross, or excuse me, the 50 and 89, the 50, 100. You can see right here, you literally have the 50 and the 89 crossing on the CME now for the last week. See here, the yellow line, you see right here, is right here, and this is your 50. So that's one of my long-term bearish sentiments. When I see that, right? Remember all this right here. When the market was doing this, I was still kind of bullish, right? Because I had not seen the 100 and the 50 cross. But now that I'm watching the 100 and the 50 cross right here, this is a bearish sentiment to me, right? I thought right here we would hold right at that 104 area because we were bouncing and we started to see some volume come in, but it didn't hold. So once we sold through that, and then we tried to come back up and push up above that 8, it's like, oh, it's not going to. Along with the cross of, so this is why I think, when we talked about a flat crash, I think this might be that flat crash over maybe a month and continue up. That's my view as of right now, right? And so where it's going to go to, well, it's going to be right here because you have your order sitting at that $75,000 to $80,000 mark.
Crypto Unicorn says, welcome back, Pedro Damas.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Connect Me One says, he called the 95,000. It's Media says, whoop, whoop. That's also me, by the way.
Oh. It's me. But you got 3.
That's the Natasha's new company that she just formed. It's Media. Nice, Mrs. Striking. A little casual there.
Yeah, be careful.
But anyway, let me take the board for a minute here, Pedro and viewers. If my screen would be so nice to change. There we go. All week, I've been showing this chart here. This is the month of November chart, of which I call it my school chart because it's where Pedro takes me to school, talking about time frames. And over here on the all the way on the left side is the big red arrow down. That's the first week of November. For those of you who've been watching the show all the time, I go over this 2 times a show because it's good filler for me. But we saw the month open like down, big time down, right down. And so the general rule is if it's going to open down for the month, at the end of the month, it's going to close up. Like I said, general rule, not guaranteed by any means. And so we just drew the big green arrow at the end of the month and then fill in the middle based on what we think it's going to do. And what we said for the second week is that if the first week went down a lot, the second week would go up a little and consolidate a little bit. It did that mostly, as you can see here where my, let's just do this one here. Right here is the end of last week where all these candles were showing this floor here, which Pedro said was a good indication that the next week, with these demand wicks would allow it to go up a little bit. And but the problem was, as I said, that it was going to finish the second week of November either in a full consolidation mode or going up a little bit. And instead, we saw the big dump off, which I had thought was going to happen next week, the week before the final week, which you'd get a big uptrend. And so the general idea was right. The timing, 2 days off, ladies and gentlemen, 2 whole days off. That's it. Fire Pedro and I. We suck. But that was the general plan for the month. Now the plan has hit my level here, and so Pedro, frankly, I think now that I talk it through, based on what you've been telling me, that there's this arrow here next week will be more like that, more down, and then the week 4 of the month is a toss up right now. But if it tanks a lot, there's got to be a little bit of a recovery or a small consolidation at least. Can't just tank forever. Well, it can tank forever. It's crypto, but it's And so my month outlooks change just a little bit, which is good, because if I were to be getting it exactly right and not trading, then I would be the dumbest person on the planet. Because if you can get things exactly right, you can be the richest person on the planet. But all we hope for is 51% right, and better. So anyway, but kind of been going out these first 2 weeks of the market, right? Called the dump, but it's a little early for it. It was happening beforehand. I think one of the things, Crypto Mike is banned on Rumble for some reason. Crypto Mike, don't you have 2 accounts on Rumble? I think. I'll look in to see if you got banned for some reason. But if there's some reason that it gives, like chat, maybe you got signed out, gotta log in, log out. Whatever, we'll help you work through it. Anyway, thanks for joining us all the way from Kanukistan. He's like 6. We'll lay him down and let us get the chat count up. So the month is working out according to plan. Timing's a little off. Now we come into the big gray zone. Is it going to go down to Pedro's doomsday level of 75,000? You know why I say that's the doomsday level? Because I think Mr. Saylor's floor price is 76,000.
That's exactly.
And you saw the market chase after James Wynn. So ultimately the market. The market. I don't know how many of you viewers are into bike racing, cycling, like Tour de France guys type stuff. I'm not, but I watch it with my dad. And one of the rules is that when there's 50 guys here, a single person can't ride more than the whole pack. Can't ride faster and beat the whole pack. It's called the peloton. And you can't beat the peloton because the peloton has a wind advantage. They draft each other, and they do all this type of stuff. The peloton is like the liquidity in Bitcoin here, and it's like the momentum of where things are going to the strongest thing, and that strongest thing points to right now to obviously Saylor wouldn't need to liquidate at 75,000. He would. It would be lower than that because he's got ample reserves. He's got billions in the bank. He's got all kinds of. He doesn't need to sell Bitcoin. He can sell more stock to lower his pay off whatever loans or something. He's got plenty of flim flam going on like this. But still, what the market wants, the market usually gets, right, Pedro? You can't overcome the market inertia.
Well, also, you want to add this is at one point in time, our investors going to stop giving him money for Bitcoin, and where his strategies. Now, he came out and he should have kept his mouth shut, in all honesty, in regards to his strategy. Because the reality is he tipped off every single smart investor going, that's right.
Yep.
And then they go, who has the majority of that? He does. They're not in it. They know if they can get him to I'm gonna call it liquidize. It's not liquidize. Liquidate his positions because he may have to. Because investors, if we see Bitcoin get down to that $75 mark, even a little lower, like I said, 50 mark, I'm almost positive his investors are going to sit there. SEC is going to have to step in and saying you're running a Ponzi scheme.
I'll be right back. I gotta send a picture to the missus at the drugstore. We're back.
Oh, okay, it's all right. And all of a sudden, his investors are going to sit there and say, "Hey, we want our money back." They're going to start asking for redemptions. As that starts to happen, then you start to see everything unraveling. All that Bitcoin is going to come up for sale, and once it comes up for sale, it's a lot of money that institutions are going to be able to get for cheap, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Obviously, his investors are going to get a large portion, or not his investors, but his debtors, right? That give him money, whether he has those loans that are against it, they paid first. And it's going to be really interesting to see who gets it, right? So that's one of those things that I'm kind of looking at seeing. So when you look at Strategies Inc., I'm going to be paying. As I told you, I was hoping we would see this come down to the 144 area. So if it comes down to that 144 area, I'll probably be throwing in some money, not into even strategies, but to an NF or an ETF that plays an option strategy on micro strategies. And so for me, I'm kind of hoping it gets down there. We see Bitcoin kind of see more of a sell-off. As that happens, then I get in, and you know, I'm not going to put a ton of money in, but I'm definitely be paying attention to. I think it's MSTR. It's not it. What is the? Give me 1 second. This is what I'm doing. I'm not telling you guys to do this. This is what I'm looking to do. It's MSTR. What is the? Yeah, that's why I thought it was STR. That's it. Use the covered call option strategy, MSC. Oh, I guess this must be it. I thought this was MicroStrategies.
Pedro, yesterday we had a new coffee advertiser.
Really? Tell me about it.
It was called Ram's Head Coffee, and the code was rammed 15 for 15% off. And they literally said, take that however you want. But it was really good. They paid us triple. We got 30, I think it was 39 cents. No, 39 cents.
Oh,
that's
wow.
triple.
Wow.
It's moving and grooving.
Nice.
Time to pump. Get everyone excited for recovery, then splat. Well, Fire Chicken, we all know the rule for pumping, but the problem is the person in the box above me needs to let his hair grow for about 3 years, which could be the length of a bear market. And then once he lets it grow, then he can put it up or take it down or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. And then that means pump, pumpity, pump, pump, pump.
These are funny. These are real funny.
Real nice.
The long-haired Pedro is daddy.
Dude, I was going through the archives and it was the long hair and the big mustache too. Big like handlebar mustache. And I was like, oh shit, we got the Colombian drug runner here. Oh my God. It was hilarious. And I had forgotten. I mean, I only see you on camera every day, you know, and still, you had that modus operandi for quite some time. And I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I actually had a friend of mine. She remember we not hung out, but we, you know, it was a church thing, and she saw me at the grocery store, and she looked at me. She's like, bro, like, is that really you? She goes, you look great. Oh my goodness. I started laughing, and I go, yeah, it's amazing. I can clean up nice. I do clean up nice. And she started cracking up. But ultimately, like, and that was, like I've talked about, it was more of a religious thing that I was doing that for, and that religious thing is over now. So, yeah. And most likely ain't gonna come back unless I need to do it again. All right,
hold on, Pedro. I'm gonna take a quick break here to. I brought up the coffee thing for a reason. Just give me a second here to do our thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you still not tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit has dropped a while ago. Only 1,000 units have been made, and you need to be one of the people that gets delivery of it. And what do you get when you order the 1775 coffee? You're going to get 3 things. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard. You're getting the smooth medium roast, and you're getting the mushroom coffee the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. No. It's all single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're also getting my favorite thing. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't served with plastic. No. You're also getting a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. Getting a black 1775 tumbler, ladies and gentlemen. This is $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Spoiler, it's worth it. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio. Grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something just like Rumble does. As always, ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code right over there. Right there, hold your cell phone up to that, pop that QR code, put your eyeballs on our advertisers. We'd really appreciate it. Helps Pedro and I out. If you're watching on your smartphone, there's a link in the chat section here. And if you're watching on the replay, first, thank you very much. But also, click the link in the description to visit 1775coffee.com/studio. Grab your starter kit before they're gone. Thank you to 1775 Coffee for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
They're doing it weekly now. It's dividends are weekly now. Holy moly. That's what's up. That's a lot of money. 16 cents dividend on $8.
Weekly?
Weekly, yes. 16 cents on, I think it was $9 here. And then 19 cents. And then when it was up at for the next week, and when it was up at, what was that? $11 paying 21 cents. This is what I'm trying to say is I'm looking to time this right. Whereas, and this correlated to MS or to MicroStrategy. So this is MSTY. This is a options dividend strategy based off of MicroStrategies. And so what they do is they go through and they buy options, cover calls, and they sell puts. And in doing that, they receive a premium. In that premium, what happens is they then will buy more MicroStrategies as it's selling off, so they can create more options or create more ability. So this is where I'm kind of waiting and seeing, where I'm watching MicroStrategy, and we've talked about this, and MicroStrategy is tied to Bitcoin, right? And so Bitcoin, again, I'm paying attention to what's happening with the SEC, what's actually happening with this whole entire circumstance. Are they going to are they going to come for MicroStrategy? Are they going to come after him? I think that's really important to understand. Like,
they have to. I mean, they have to come for him. If the market momentum says it's going to happen, it has to happen. It's almost like what's it called? Free will versus determinism. You know, this part is not the free will part. This is the determinism part. It's like, it's gonna happen. And so I hope Saylor is prepared for it.
Well, here's the thing. I think he is. I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna start lending out his Bitcoin to receive income from it. Right. Now, here's the thing. We're already seeing it we're already starting to see horrible downs in not the futures market, in the job market. People are going to need capital. The US dollar, they're going to inflate. Everything's going to go crazy. Bitcoin, everybody knows, most likely it's going to hold its value. It's interesting because I was talking to a friend of mine we were talking about gold. And he's like, why is gold stagnant? And I go, well, I honestly think that it's gonna, again, this is Pedro being Mr. Damas here right now. But when I look at what's actually happening, you can only have, so much gold. And then like at a point it starts to hurt itself if you keep letting it push up. A safety mechanism that you could actually do is buy Bitcoin, even though it's a non-physical asset, unlike gold. It is also rare because only 21 million right? And we already know 2 million is left with a 19. Have we crossed the 20 million mark yet of mined? I don't think so, but I can't remember.
That's close. It was 19 and change recently.
Yeah. So like that idea behind is that where we're sitting, it's like we know it's a negligible amount now. It's 5% that is left that is going to be mined over the next almost 100 years. So on the back end, the supply that is out there is now a fight. It's now a battle. It's a real battle, and you can actually fight for it. So waiting for that to actually happen would be silly for the Federal Reserves around the world to do that. So I think they're allowing it to sell off, and all of a sudden I think we'll see Federal Reserves go in and want to buy it, and I think they're going to come to Saylor. I do. If he's able to weather this storm, that he will become, he very much could become a Federal Reserve, and in essence loaning out Satoshis. And because once you hear Federal Reserves buying, like big Federal Reserves, US.
Where is he? He's based in Arlington, Virginia. So he could possibly become, they could give him a charter to the Federal Reserve, and he could be a member bank of the whatever the regional bank is. Not the federal, but the regional bank there, and essentially become part of the Fed lending thing. I can see that. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a possible outcome.
But here's the thing: he's got to weather this storm. He's got to become like Elon Musk, where he can sell crap to a skunk, right? He's got to be able to sell stank to a skunk, and really get them to buy into this, and knowing that, because if it does, he will weather the storm. He'll be able to buy more Bitcoin. And I knew this. I knew when he kept buying the top offs out here, right? When we were talking about it, I said he's got to stop buying the top offs. I guess sooner or later that's going to come and bite him in the booty. And sure enough, it did, man. It did. He would be at a much lower cost basis. His cost basis is that $75,000 mark, or $76,000. And so if we come down there, we should start seeing redemptions wanting to step in and request their money back in regards to it. Now, I think they have a 5-year lock-in right now, but I don't know the full details of that. But if they just say, you know what, and they start complaining to the SEC, I mean, even the SEC, I think the SEC would want some of that money. I mean...
Well, this is the problem with the SEC. They get a lot of their budget from fines, and their fines are going down. And so if their fines are going down, their budget is not as large. And that means they have to lay people off. And no government, it doesn't matter who your politics are, no government official likes to be in charge of a department laying people off, because then you don't get any street cred. I mean, people get better government jobs by implementing new policy, like, oh, I got 10 policies implemented in the presidential budget and stuff like that. All right, we got regulations, we closed 6 gaps. Wah, 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 wah. Nobody likes to be the guy that says, oh, I reduced the budget. Doesn't matter your politics, Republican, Democrat, whatever, because that's not how federal jobs work. Nobody gets promoted for reducing the budget or getting rid of regulations. Crypto Mike says they had the VPN on. Yes, Rumble has been taking steps to stop bots coming from VPNs from various places. They got a lot of grief about bots a while ago. A couple of channels that they brought over from Kick, which is loaded with bots. We're trying to do the same thing here, and Rumble said, nope, not going to happen. So that's probably what is doing. You can use it over Tor. I have watched Rumble on Tor, but not on a VPN. Welcome, Kimu Kami. I'm a white guy from the Midwest, and I cannot pronounce that properly. Anyway, welcome to the show, Kimu Kami. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. Oh, another Pedro friend, ladies and gentlemen. Mike and Kat. Uh-oh, Pedro apparently put the call out to his trading group.
That ain't me, dude. But it immediately took me to I'm laughing because it took me to Shrek and that part when they're like torturing the poor little the Muffin Man. You mean the Muffin Man? Yes, the Muffin Man who lives on gingerbread Lane. Yes. Oh, that was good. Alrighty, the one on Cherry Lane. That's what it is. The one on Cherry Lane. There you go. Niz, is that you? That's good. All right.
There we go. There's the Muffin Man. Oh, it's hidden by the Bitcoin thing here.
There we are. All right.
Why is this working so slow?
Thank you. Take me off here real quick.
All of my buttons are currently working backwards right now. Pedro should be going off there. Nope. Come on. There we go. Oh, there, Pedro's off screen there. Oh, now he's back. Hold on.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
There.
No longer matters. You can bring me back on.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things that are happening here in the market. I mean, watching AI. I mean, the fact is that now you have China producing a humanoid for under $1,500 that you can buy. That is revolutionary. That right there. I mean, look, no matter even if they have a 100% tariff, I can buy a humanoid robot that's fairly decent, right, in my home to do my laundry and everything like that for under literally $3,000 to $4,000. If they have a robot that can actually do stuff like that and actually do laundry, do everything that needs to happen over the next 3 to 5 years, Elon Musk is still sitting at $20,000 with Optimus. So jobs are definitely going to start to get killed. Remember, we're America. We're open to anybody who's able to buy, create something of value. So Tesla and many of the humanoid robots are going to have to really step in. And all of this huge economic issue has everything to do with jobs. I keep talking about how the stimulus is not going to work because the stimulus only helps with people who have jobs that are just struggling. But if you don't have a job, that $2,000, yes, it's going to mean something. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not. But the reality is that in literally 2 months, you're going to be worse off because you're going to have inflation that is going to jump up and make prices go up in value. But you won't have a job now to be able to pay for those higher prices. So they will either have deflation, right? They will have to drop on the prices, which is what we kind of need, or those companies, because when you have inflation like that, then producers charge more, and when producers charge more, then guess who charges more? The raw producers, the actual miners. So the mines start to charge more, and all of a sudden now it trickles up real quick, right? you know about trickle down effect, right? With Reagan, well, trickle up effect is a real situation as well. And so when you have the producers as well as the miners charging more, it starts to get really hard, right, for people. So the biggest thing is this here is that you're going to have to let some things fall apart. You really are going to have to. This is why I made a comment here to us saying, hey guys, you guys really need to go through and make sure that you have multiple jobs, unless you decide you want to become like a trader like me. And that means that time and period is over, just straight up. Like if you haven't been starting it, to start it now, start now, but go out and get 2 jobs. Like go out, if you can find jobs, go out and get jobs. And then you're gonna have to work really hard, learn how to trade. Because if jobs aren't there, you're gonna have to beat people out. And there are a lot of people who aren't on the job market, right? It was funny, Tom Biley was talking about this morning. I'm actually kind of shocked that he didn't know this. And we've been talking about it on our show for years, whereas literally you have the unemployment, and then you have the people where after 6 months, they take you off the unemployment and you're just sitting there. You're no longer looking for employment. And this in itself when you don't see jobs increasing and jobs being, you see, and we're watching unemployment increase, and then you're also, or unemployment staying steady, like, oh, we only have 4% unemployment or 3% unemployment, that's good. No, that's not good, because if you don't have job accumulation, job increasing, jobs being created and being brought to the market, and when you see that drop, and then you see how unemployment staying steady, that means, remember we talked about every 6 months, if you started after a 6-month period, you're dropped off, you're no longer in the unemployment rate, that means there's less people working. And with that less people working, then that means that you might have an opportunity, because those people have given up on jobs. You go out there and find a job, go out and do what you need to do. Even the gig economy, whether it's YouTube or not YouTube, but if that's with the what's it called? Money, when you, I might forget what that's called. Uber, like Ubering, right? If you're going to do Ubering, right? It's still money coming in. Whatever that money is, as the market is coming in, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but put that money into assets, because assets go up in value. And so even if you're not having a job, like an actual physical job, go out and figure out a way to get income to come in so that you can buy these assets as they're selling off. Because this always happens in the beginning of a recession, in the beginning of a depression, wherever we're at, whatever this is, you'll always see that. If you have 2 jobs, if you lose one, you have something else then. But that extra income, put it into this market, right? Because I promise you, in 5-10 years from now, you'll be sitting really pretty, unless we have a, if the market isn't, if the market doesn't exist, then we have bigger problems, much bigger problems.
If the market doesn't exist, there's all sorts of other problems, like where are you gonna eat?
That's exactly. And so there's and then I'll be in those lines, but it's going to be really interesting to see what we have coming. Man, who is Niner Bravo? What's up?
That's Mike.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Mike's going through his accounts to help out our chat rate, apparently.
Oh, thank you, appreciate you. I want you to jump. Oh shoot! Did you create stickers?
I did create. Look at the emote. For those of you watching, check out the emotes in the chat now. I made a few. Yeah, I just figured it out on Rumble. So there's Pedro and I doing our thing. Yes. But then there's the Bitcoin girl here, and I got to work on the comment machine so they show them bigger. But all the various crypto girls I use in the thumbnails, I put in as emojis too. And that's that one's a Bitcoin girl with the sky is falling. She's like, ah. Pedro, while you were gone, I really upped my thumbnail game here.
I can tell you really did. It's very impressive. But what I'm saying is this: there's a lot of situations happening right now, and I think Bitcoin and crypto is going to be around. I don't think it's going to go down to nothing. I do think that we're at a point where, like Zcash and XLM, right? Or X, what's Monero?
XMR.
Yeah, XMR. These ones are going to be. I've talked about Monero a few times here, where it's like these areas here are these gems, right? Like we're watching it coming, because the fact is that the government's going to need to figure out a way to get money. And so they will. I was listening, and you made a good point, Tom. But I think Tate actually makes a good point as well. This idea that the government is going to need money, and they're going to look for people to get that money. We saw this during World War II. This wouldn't be the first time that the U.S. government does it. There are other governments around the world where they bring up, Trump charges. And
speaking of, there's us posing with Mr. Trump there in the graphic. Me, then Trump bobbing his head, then you.
Yes.
Epic.
But I think he brought up a good point, and I actually overheard this with what's his name? I remember again. Andrew Tate, he made this comment basically saying that governments are going to start looking for money, just like they were looking for gold. And one of the areas that you can be able to pull money out kind of a thin air is Trump charges that get pulled up on you and saying, hey, you did something illegal. And you're like, wait, what? And then, yeah, we're going to put you in jail for 15 years, 10 years. And on top of that, we're going to take every asset of yours. And
Right.
now we have money to...
Sure, that's never happened with the federal government, ever. Sure, never, ever happened.
World War
Oh,
II.
you used the wrong postage on that envelope. That's a federal crime and wire fraud and mail fraud. That's 100 years in jail, or you could just plead guilty to that and pay a 500,000 Bitcoin fine, Mr. Sailor.
Yeah.
When you were 17, we caught you.
Yeah. Double jeopardy? Nope. Sorry, buddy. That doesn't work here.
Right. Yeah, they're like, nope, sorry. The Supreme Court ruled that double jeopardy thing doesn't really count. That any jurisdiction can charge you for something that another jurisdiction ruled previously tried you for. So, thanks, Supreme Court, for fucking that up.
How did that? I don't even understand how that actually worked.
The United States Constitution says no person shall be tried for the same crime twice.
Yes.
And it doesn't say per jurisdiction or per whatever. It just says can't be tried for the same crime twice. And that's why when people get off innocent, they're scot-free and the government says we're done with you. But this crafty bastards came out with an argument that said, well, the state tried him for murder. This comes out of civil rights things. Tried him for murder, and they didn't convict him. So the federal people said, well, we're going to try you for murder on civil rights charges. And the defendant said, oh, you can't. I'm innocent. Innocent here. And it got all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled, oh, well, that's just that jurisdiction. Any jurisdiction can charge you. Like, that jurisdiction can no longer charge you for murder, but another jurisdiction can. And everyone's like, whoa, wait. No, that's that's not how this works.
Part of the law. Yeah.
Right, and it was one of those things where the Supreme Court just made a massive mistake. That's the same thing as the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court said companies are just like people. Companies are not like people. Companies are a construct of law to allow people to operate business-wise together. And it said companies are like people. They can spend money on politics just like people. They have rights and all this type of stuff. Fucked that up. And then they screwed up the campaign finance thing where we said we can't have unlimited money donating. And the Supreme Court said, nope, you can do that. That's a freedom of speech for companies. And you're like, wait a minute. Companies don't have freedom of speech. People do. Because we're born with it. Companies aren't born with... It's just... Those three decisions have created such havoc in our country. And of course, they were Republican ones, which I generally disagree with. I generally agree with. Agree with the Republican court decisions. But these ones, that Supreme Court ruling on the federal campaign contributions was just a disaster. What kind of morons think companies have the same rights as people?
Well, I think really what it is, it's not even the companies. It's not the judges. It's really the mindset of our society right now, right? It's like everybody wants to be able to go after somebody versus taking kind of personal responsibility for things. And I think that's really where we're watching the implosion. Whereas you look at the Protestant work ethic, not the Protestant work, the Puritan work ethic that really built the American civilization. It was, we're not going to rely on the government. This is America, where you can make something of yourself and you can work really hard. And that's actually seen a drop in that value over the last 30 to 50 years. And so we're starting to see it come back action, which is really interesting with Generation Alpha, which has been really interesting. It's actually becoming a much more conservative individual system. They still hold a lot of woke values, but also correlate that with individual work ethic. So I think it's because they're going to have to be the ones to clean up this mess. In all reality, if we keep going down this route over the next 10, 15 years, they're the ones that are going to have to work in. Are we going to turn to socialism? or are we going to sit there and have to work our way out of this? Generation X and Generation Y, we're going to have to be the ones that just suffer through it. We're not going to have Social Security. You need to make sure that you're planning your finances wisely. You can't just give it to your financial advisor anymore. You need to understand the markets. You need to pay attention to what's actually happening in the financial reporting of those numbers, and do what we do here on the show. Like, no, there aren't actually real jobs, because your PPI, your CPI is jumping up when you're looking at the actual employment metrics, and we're watching what's actually happening in job creation versus unemployment, understanding the metrics there. You can say, oh, they're lying here, they're lying there. Okay, we need to look at that and say, well, if they're lying here, why? And then from there, how do I mitigate the backlash? Boom, we've been talking about buying crypto. That's one of the ways you can do it. Also, the idea of putting your money into a stable coin where you can get 6 to 12% in, or 10 to 12% in like a stable coin wallet, or in a crypto wallet, putting your money into a stable coin by, long story short, staking it. So there's just these small little things that we've got to start doing. We've got to take bull by the horns and wrestle it ourselves instead of expecting the government, because they really, this is the other thing, very, very frustrating with Trump, to sit there and say the market's at all-time high, and
Right.
and it's like, dude, that 80+% of Americans are not in the stock market, and even less are in the crypto market, because they don't have cash to put it into it, right? And so he's doing some good stuff in regards to taking away legislation.
Money printer.
Yes, but also, we see what he's doing here when it comes to regulations. He's trying to remove red tape regulations for small companies as well as large companies to really accelerate innovation, right? That's really going to be where we need to sit there and see if you can sit there and take away a lot of these regulations, and a lot of them are local regulations that really stifle growth within local states and municipalities. If we can take those away, and if the government takes that away, all of a sudden the local states go, you know what, Trump's putting pressure on local states and municipalities to sit there and say, hey, stop with this bull BS and allow for innovation. If we can see that, where now you have free money coming in and people can take loans. This is if, again, banks feel comfortable with Americans really pushing hard for loans. We could climb our way out of this, much like what we saw in the 1900s and the 1910s, especially with the robotic systems kicking in, right? There will be major small companies that are going to come out and produce a lot of small devices, things of, there are going to be manufacturing companies that are going to be created. I was frustrated with Trump because Trump, instead of making more money for the long term of like the EV as well as he received a lot of energy money from selling our oil. And instead of sitting there and really push hard for making companies saying, hey, no, look, you need to come here into America. We don't want them. We want you in here by X amount of day and time. That's what he should have done. Right. Now we are seeing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to have a conversation with someone about this just yesterday. About, in fact, it was an economic development person for the government of Canada, actually for the government of Ontario, and he's talking about this the manufacturing jobs coming in, and he said the same thing. He said the timeline doesn't match the timeline of his presidency, even if everything goes great. Great. Anyway, Pedro, I'm going to take a quick break here to make a little monies with Rumble and Perplexity here. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking for smarter ways to browse and enjoy your favorite content without ads? Get the Perplexity Pro bundle with Rumble Premium for just $19.99 a month when you sign up before December 31st, normally a $29.99 value. With Rumble Premium, you'll get ad-free viewing experiences across all your devices and access to exclusive premium content, no interruptions, just the videos and streams you love anytime, anywhere. Plus, here comes the alliteration. Plus, Perplexity Pro boosts your productivity with unlimited research, unlimited uploads, exclusive member perks, and access to the latest and most advanced AI models for faster, smarter answers every day. Save 30% on this powerful bundle. Head to rumble.com/premium just before December 31st to sign up and unlock your premium experience. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code over there. It says Perplexity. Get the Perplexity Pro bundle with Rumble Premium today. 2 things that you can really do to benefit you is watch Rumble on Premium, and 2, get a good AI that you pay for so you can use all their features. And that's a good deal here. Hold your cell phone up to that QR code, pop it, put your eyeballs on our advertisers, please, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate it. If you're watching on your smartphone, there's a link in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, thank you very much. And there's a link in the description to rumble.com/premium. And thank you to Perplexity for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Pedro, we've got a good crowd here today watching us.
We do. Good to have all you guys here. Thank you. If you guys are new here to us, we are a daily show that typically goes from 12 to about 2 o'clock. I'm going to actually have to shorten my time on this. That's something simply coming up. So I'm going to be on the show for about the first half hour from now on. And then having to go and do some stuff I'm kind of obligated myself to. But I'm excited because I'm still here and I want to be I'm just going to be much more concise and to the point and kind of show you guys what I'm looking at, what I'm doing here. Jumping back here real quick to ICP if that's happening. So ICP did come down to the levels that we were talking about, right?
Ooh, sorry, I'm a little behind here. Sorry, you're still on the main screen. One second to get that chart up. Come up, there you go.
So we saw ICP go from 975 all the way back down here. Now what the interesting with ICP is that when we look at that weekly chart, right? It shot up, came back down. But the important thing here is look, there's not a lot of volume coming in this week on the seller side. So these people taking profit here. There's no supply weight on this week. So I'm expecting to come down up into that lower level of that $4 area potentially. 450 area, $4 back, and then see it go up here. So these are some of the things I'm expecting to see with ICP. It's a nice little trade here. I was going over with
Fraz Parfums.
Fraz Parfums. And so this is ones I was looking at. It was really nice. I'm kind of expecting to see it kind of pull back here, maybe consolidate for a week and then push back up. The other one to be looking at, honestly,
hold on, Pedro. Let me hit my ICP chart on that. So, like, in case you didn't see it while you were away, Fraz came back on and asked about it, and I said, "All right, well, I'll look at it because I remember what you spoke about." And on day 1 of this white candle here on, well, you can't see my mouse because I was on the right screen. Day 1 here on Sunday. All right, I'm sorry. On Monday, I looked at this and I said, well, there's a couple things going on here, Mr. Parfums. I said it could be a dramatic sell-off, but I said also it could be a pattern here that, from my limited experience learning this, seems to play out a lot. And this little wedge coming down, in which it comes into a Fibonacci retracement of either the 618 zone or the 786 zone, and it's coming right down into that. It's kind of in that golden pocket right now, following my chart. And while I don't have as many technical reasons behind it as you do, these are simple things that I like to follow. Is it forming a pattern in which it needs to break out from? Yes, obviously it can't keep squeezing forever. It's got to break out some way or another. Where's a logical place that it usually breaks out? And statistics say it when there's a Fibonacci retracement, it's somewhere between the golden pocket and that 786 zone, which is right in here where my mouse is. So if there's going to be a retracement, this is the likely area according to this theory. But it's also entirely possible it goes down to other liquidity levels as well. So just drawing that out. Franz came back on and thanked me for that, and I said, hey, I was just taking what Pedro taught me about the liquidity levels and added a few lines and fibs to it. But anyway, ICP looking to come down a little bit more, and possibly that there are this. But what does Pedro always say? The volume's got to come back, and so we need to get a little bit more volume there. And if that happens right around the 786, booyah, going up. Of course, it might just be coincidence because the whole market goes up on that week. But whatever. But I thought that's one of the things I was talking about while you were off, sir.
Oh, nice, good. One of the ones I'm also looking at is BAT. Similar reason, you can see here pushed up, come back down. I'm looking at that 26 target, and then seeing it come down. So that's pretty much it. I need to do a bio break real quick. I'll be back.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show here. We only got to be done by 2 o'clock today, but
all right, cool.
We'll see.
I'll see you guys on Monday.
All right, Pedro. We'll see you Monday. Thanks a lot to Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, for being here today. Really appreciate everybody. Let's head over to the chat. Let's see who's talking what. Let's see who's talking smack. Not enough smack being talked. That's English. I'm Herlihy English here. Crypto Mike, this is a good comment here. In Canada, or at least I was taught in law class, we're all companies. Let's say I own a business that I have not incorporated. You have claim to those on your tax. You have to claim those on your taxes. So technically, you can be a business, I think is what you're trying to say. Yes, no, I agree that, but that's also a construct of law because businesses only exist because they were created. I mean, the concept of business or a business was only created under, he says, nope, okay. I don't know what you mean. Anyway, let me speak to it from an American point of view. In America, our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence says that, we have inalienable rights. They're not given to us or claimed or reclaimed from a crown or something like that. Is that humans are born with certain rights. In fact, we're born with all rights. In that our government is only allowed to regulate these certain ones. And it's specifically not allowed to regulate these ones at all. But still does, because of the stupid Supreme Court decisions. And one of the concepts that always was that people are ultimately responsible for everything. We're created by our creator, whether it's God, a magic switch in the sky, or whatever, doesn't matter. You're born with every right, and we've created a limited form of government, even though it's a big, vast government, still limited in its form. And it can only do certain things, the government. So we have to, in order for other things to happen, like businesses, we have to create legislation to do that. And when we did that, the Supreme Court ruled that, businesses have rights too. And the answer to that is no, unequivocally no. I don't care what legal scholar you are. You can look at court precedents and say, well, in 32 they ruled this, and then in 53 they ruled this, so that builds up to a right. No. Our Constitution doesn't say, and our Declaration of Independence say, our companies are all created equal. It says all humans, all people. Well, except for slaves back then, but we fixed that. Am I playing this music out over the internet? I am, but it's a little loud. They had two musics playing. Who knew? And a commercial. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to be on the air a few more minutes here. Thanks to Pedro Garcia for coming back this week and talking about his stuff. Both Pedro and I have other projects going on right now that are in real life projects, not other crypto trading projects. My missus and I started another business that has to do with social media and the horse industry. There's a comment on here called Bits Media, formed that company back in the stirrups media. The missus has always been a horse and equine person, so we decided to see if we can make some money in that market too with all these great social media experience that I have. And Pedro has some trading stuff, real life stuff going on too that just takes a little bit of our time every day. So thus we have somewhat of a wonky schedule, trying to work that out. Yeah, Mike, there's the odd commercials I hear. I've got one of these music stations playing on YouTube, and it's AI music, so it's not copyrighted, so you can use it. And here it is. It's all cool, like space DYOR girl type stuff, which I like as the background music. But for some reason, I didn't get the original channel, which I can't find. I got the copy channel, and the copy channel also load ads up on things. And so the original channel, the creator paid to have no commercials. So I got the one with commercials here. So it's like, you know, you're listening to your song, which I did the other day. I love listening to Pink Floyd. And Pink Floyd recently sold all the rights. All the guys finally got together, agreed on everything, and sold the rights, along with the estate of Rick Wright. Sold the rights to all Pink Floyd, everything, all the rights to Sony. And Sony has been merchandising the shit out of them, and putting so much more on YouTube and so much more on everything. And so all my favorite, you know, access to Pink Floyd has never been greater. All the old recordings, it's wonderful. I'm listening to it all the time now. Of course, there's copy channels who have copied this stuff and put ads in the middle of it. So I'm listening to Comfortably Numb, and right where David Gilmour comes in and starts his vocals in it. When I was a child, it went right to a Viagra commercial. Not Viagra, but something like that. And I was like, broken dick syndrome commercials ruined my mood. Oh, Fire Chicken in the house. Look at this cool graphic it brings up. Fire Chicken, 1 year anniversary next week on the 20th. Working on some giveaways. Appreciate the support over the year. Fire Chicken. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Fire Chicken. I'd bring up the applause right now, but the applause machine is not on. Thank you. I'll just clap. Thank you very much. Pedro and I always appreciate the donations. What it does, it's not so much the money directly, although I enjoy having your money taken out of your pocket and put in my pocket, just like that. I really enjoy that. But it tells the algorithm, hey, something good is going on here. If people are willing to put up their own money and send it to the creator, that's the biggest plus that someone can do to help our channel out, because that is a super booster on the algorithm. And Rumble doesn't rely so much on the algorithm as much as YouTube does, because the feed is different. They're still a little not as good on that, but it still gets more eyeballs on our stuff there. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. As Crypto Mike says, have an epic Fire Chicken weekend. Yeah, Pedro and I will make it an effort to go over Fire Chicken next week. And of course, Chuck, if you want to come on, if you have time between fiat mining to come on and talk about it, Fire Chicken and what's going on with Fire Chicken, feel free. You know what we'll do? You know what we could do is we could do an evening, a space lounge, not for premium, but just a regular space lounge. Then you can have the Fire Chicken community come out and do it. So maybe we can do that next week. Fire Chicken. Let's see, a couple of the things that I wanted to talk about here. Let's bring the charts back up here. Oh, my system running slow. Oh, there's the commercial. Dang nabbit. They're gonna be faster on the draw with the commercial. Oh, now there's no sound. Interesting. Oh, it's there. It's just low. Anyway, let's see. Which news? There's a couple of interesting news stories that some of you may not care about at all. Crypto Unicorn says, we care. Ooh, Fire Chicken on Moon or Dust next week. Just so you know, I asked Sean if I could rebroadcast the 3 Mooner Dust shows a week on our Rumble channel, because we're official Rumble creators, and we need to supply content. And I can only make so much. And so, why is that on? Hold on, let me, not sure what was going on there. Pedro had to go, but Pedro, if you're listening, I had you off in the background because you said you had to go. I didn't know if you wanted to go or... Pedro? Oh, looks like your screen hung up. I think Pedro was in the background there trying to talk to us. He said he had to go, so we left. Hold on, let's Pedro, did you? Sorry, I'm communicating with Pedro in the background here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks everyone that's watching. Thanks to everybody that's watching here. Pedro's typing in the background here, so just give me a second. Anyway, only a few more minutes left in the show. There were a couple of news stories that I wanted to go over real quick, and we can tell you if you guys bring up something. I'm glad to talk about it. It's Friday. The missus isn't home yet. Bitcoin down again here. Look at this, 94.8 coming back down. Not at its low for the day yet, but coming back down. Let's go back to BTC here and look at the. What the price is, 94,902. That looks like that's a little bit behind. Let's see, where was it? Oh, this is the article about Michael Saylor. We are not selling. No truth to this at all. Earlier today, a popular X account said Arkham data showed that Strategy reduced its Bitcoin holdings. Now, someone let me know if that music's too loud in the background. I can't tell the way I have it on here. Strategy chairman was defiant as ever on Friday, dismissing claims that his company sold some of the Bitcoin holdings. In a post from Walter Bloomberg, Arkham data reportedly showed Strategy reduced its holdings by to approximately 437,000 BTC. It's unclear whether this came from transfers or from sales. This is the first reported decrease since yada 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 months after accumulation. Saylor was quick to refute. There's no truth to this rumor. The outspoken Bitcoin advocate posted an AI-generated image of himself floating in the water with the Titanic sinking in the background, which some users, let's go see that picture. Nope, they didn't post the, didn't link to it. Let's see, we are buying quite a lot, actually, and we'll report our next buys on Monday morning. I think people will be pleasantly surprised. Arkham also pushed back against Bloomberg's post, noting that Strategy regularly undergoes wallet custodian rotations and that the movements recorded this morning are likely a continuation of those. That's true. Many people move stuff around, even the big holders. They move stuff around in order to consolidate wallets, spread out their holdings amongst different custodians. So in case one gets hacked, they all don't lose everything. So that I thought that was it was just one of those great rumors that somebody probably wanted to probably put a short on the market, and then let a popular account know what was going on, and he fell for it. Be interesting to see if the timing worked out so that the price of Bitcoin decreased during that time. We shall see. Anyway, Oklahoma man gets 5 years for leading $9.4 million crypto investment fraud scheme. And this one is interesting, and I'll tell you why. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison after being found to have led a $10 million cryptocurrency fraud scheme. Travis Ford, 36, who was the CEO and top trader of Wolf Capital Crypto Trading. I've actually heard of this group, and it was listed as one of my things if I was going to do another season of Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked. Was sentenced on Friday. He was ordered to pay $1 million and hand over blah, 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 blah. He raised money from about 2,800 investors through his website and social media. He knew his investment returns he promised to customers could not be consistently achieved. Ford told investors that Wolf Capital would return 1% to 2% per day, but prosecutors knew Ford was not happening. Instead, that money was being lost. At one point, Ford attempted to quell concerns by telling investors that everything is safe and I'll prove it in the morning to stop all the FUD. But then, of course, he didn't. Instead, Ford and his co-conspirators allegedly made false promises to induce members of the public to invest more money. He then misappropriated and diverted investor funds to benefit himself. He took the money and lived the fat life, and now he's going to live the fat life in the joint. And I find this interesting because the feds are kind of going back and getting all these people who ran those Ponzi schemes. And there were a lot of them. In fact, there was a lot of trading groups on Telegram that were devoted just to making money in those Ponzi schemes before they crashed. I know a lot of people that did. I'm like, that's too much to pay attention to, because any moment they could rug. So the trick is just to stay, once you've made money in it, pull it out so that it's a profit, but just keep parlaying it up and knowing that your last biggest trade could be your last. So the feds, I bet you everyone that's got a U.S. connection to that, they'll eventually wrap up all of them. All of them. Pedro says drop the music a little, which I did a little bit. Let's see, what was the other thing I had here? Future liquidations. Nope, they changed. See, this Cointelegraph, they do this even when you open the story up in a second window. They still screw you on that. And the story goes off the screen. Now here's a great story right here. Bitcoin price boom isn't guaranteed after U.S. shutdown is over. That article's obviously old, and we were right about that. That was a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. Some of the things that Pedro and I really have talked about, once again reinforced by the precipitous nature of regulators in the UK. We've been talking about how they just don't get the concept of stable coins. They just don't get it, and they're limiting people they're coming out with regulations that limit people to hold only so many dollars worth, or so many pounds worth, pound sterling, of stable coins, which means if you have, say you have a $50,000 crypto account and it's in USDT, you can't hold $50,000 of USDT. You've got to sell 20,000 of that for cash, or 30,000 of it for cash. And in fact that's done here in Canada too, with a lot of cryptos on native Canadian crypto exchanges. You can't hold more than a certain amount, and they make you sell it. Not just limited to stable coins, but along with many that they deem risky. Not a good plan at all. The market needs to sort itself out. It can't all be government relations or government regulations. Government relations. This is Striking got home, so I was thinking about that. What was the other? This one. No, there's all this big FUD about XRP ETFs going crazy. As we can see from the news about Bitcoin ETFs, they trade almost just as fast as the spot market. Just not Manitoba. That's interesting. Oh, you know what? You might be right. That might be an Ontario securities law. You're right. You're right, Mike. Treasury Secretary Bessent projects a $3 trillion stablecoin market by 2030. That's what Pedro and I have been saying forever and forever and forever. Stablecoins are projected to grow tenfold. As soon as they simplify the payment scheme for that, and MasterCard and Visa are already working that in so that they can take 3% of your transaction. It will just explode. It will just explode. In fact, Circle, I don't have the article up, but Circle has just come out and said that they are working as a payroll processors or with payroll processors to allow companies to pay their people in USDC, meaning that most companies use a third party to process their payroll, and the company sends all the data and the money to a third party company like ADP in the US and Cerebrum or whatever the big one is here in Canada. And they handle all the tax filings. They handle all the stuff behind the scenes. You just pay them a fee to do it. It's a wonderful service, and they work great. At least the one here in Canada does. ADP is kind of a pain in the US. Use both. But now at the recipient, you can say, instead of sending to my bank, you can say send to my wallet in USDC. How about that? Don't even have to go to your bank anymore. Don't even need to go through it. Don't even need to go to your bank. And you could just get it dropped right into your Robinhood account or Coinbase account or into your DeFi wallet. Lovely, huh? Or I wonder if they're going to limit that. See, now here's the question. Bank accounts in most major countries are subject to law for collections, meaning that if you are we'll just use the deadbeat dad example, if you're not paying your child support and all that, or your spousal support or whatever it is, that other person can go to court and say, enforce this order, please collect. And they'll just go and tell your bank, hey, you need to send some of the whatever money that comes in, send a portion of it to this party to as part of this court order. If you can send your payroll to any crypto wallet, all that stuff is finished. So they're gonna have to come up with a workaround for that. That's interesting. That might be one of those things where state laws just come out and say, state law says that companies may not pay crypto wallet directly. They must go through a bank first, or something that's state regulated in the state. That's interesting. Mike says we are the only province that do that. That's it. I'm moving to Manitoba. Honey, pack the bags. We're going to Manitoba. Lots of horses in Manitoba. Okay, she's on the fence. Nope. Give it a... Nope, sorry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you for the show today. Let's get the Musica playing here. Oh, where is it? Why does that I don't understand how that menu moves on me. How that menu moves. Let's load up the kick tracks. There we go. You know what this one's all about. Even the end of the show takes a look because I like to keep talking. Not as much as you, Pedro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. That's the end of the week. We had a good week here. My good friend and co-host, Mr. Pedro Garcia, wasn't here much, but we had Chris Alexander in from the Crypto Swamp Creatures. He's likely to fill in now and then again, too. Either for me or for Pedro in the future. Pedro was here today, gave us an update on Bitcoin. We shall see. See these arrows here? We got the prediction right on what's going on in the direction of the market. Timing's just a little bit off. We shall see how this weekend sorts out. Not the Saturday markets. Remember, no liquidity in the markets then. But we'll see how it turns out for next week, whether we're going to have more of a down week or whether it's going to come up. Anyway, I want to thank everyone that really participated this week. Thanks to all you chatters, people with helped us get over the threshold. By the middle of the month, we've reached almost all of our goals for Rumble creators. First time ever, we reached our number of hours watched, number of chatters, all this type of stuff. It's been a great 2 weeks here in November. With that note, pay attention. We might have some premium stuff come on. Might have a space lounge in which we feature Fire Chicken in the evening times. You never know what you're going to get on this channel. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here on the DYOR Media Network on this great show called DYOR Live. My good friend Pedro Garcia is not in the box right now, but he's listening at home, wishing me good luck and saying, Tom, get off the air. It's time to go. And it is, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week, so be there.